you want my take as someone who loves both of these characters in almost equal level? No? Too bad. So, what's the deal with all of this? Well, wait, who are you? Hello! Anyways, well, this discussion is messy for lack of better words. The best way I can make sense of this is to look at both characters, what they've gotten in recent years, how they've been treated in general, and what they have to offer. I love these two a lot, so it's quite hard to play favorites. Starting with... Alright, Oh boy, Amy, okay. Well, to start, Amy has her first role in Sonic CD where she doesn't do a lot. She mostly serves to be a damsel in distress for Sonic. She'd go on to appear in spin-offs like Sonic Drift, Sonic R, and The Fighters. Her next mainline appearance would be in Sonic Adventure, where her story revolves around protecting a flicky she nicknamed Birdie and bringing them to their family while being chased by one of Eggman's robots called Zero. Little side tangent, but her gameplay is really not the best in this game in my opinion. She's very painfully slow, and Zero giving chase constantly proves to be more annoying than intimidating after a while. And while she does have her Pico Pico hammer, it only stuns Zero for a few seconds before it resumes its chase, for you can bully the little freak pretty easily. In Sonic Adventure 2, she gets saved by Tails, helps Sonic escape prison, and gets held at gunpoint, though she does have a pretty good moment with Shadow. Then he died, but not really. Amy's influence in a plot fluctuates a lot. For example, in Sonic Heroes, she is one of the main teams you control, Team Rose, but in in fact, most games, she's very much a side character or doing her own thing in the background, like in Sonic Rush, the Sonic Unleashed, Sonic 06, Last World, Forces, you get the point. It's not all doom and gloom though. In 2023 she got a surprising amount of attention actually. With Superstars and Origins Plus, Amy was finally playable in the classic titles, sporting her own original moveset. In the same year, with the Sonic Frontiers Final Horizon free update, Modern Amy was playable in a mainline Sonic game for the first time since Sonic Heroes, not to mention the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which canonically takes place on Amy's birthday. As for characterization is where things get hairy. Originally, Amy was very much one note, for lack of better words. She chased Sonic around because she loved him. Sonic didn't reciprocate, and that was as far as the interactions went. It's the entire reason why Team Amy was in the story of Sonic Heroes, or Rush, or in 06. In fact, most of the time, she gets involved somehow because she was looking for Sonic. This has changed a lot in recent years, with her still showing interest in Sonic, but often focusing on her friends and other things. She has been given a bit more variety in her interactions, as well as her personality being more mellowed out. It's a far cry from how she was portrayed in earlier games, previously being shown to be very reactive and even sometimes hot-headed. Where things get complicated is fan reception, as always. A lot argue that this more mellowed out Rose is a cry too far from her original personality, that she's lost her energy and spunk, many calling her bland, while some argue that Amy, before Sonic Forces, was less of a character and more of a stereotype. The female character whose predominant color is pink, wears a skirt or a dress, and whose only defining trait is liking the male protagonist. I'd say that, well, I'd like it be more in the middle. Amy is one of my favorite characters because she is incredibly cute but also smart and comedically strong. In the IDW comics, she is quite literally introduced by smashing a giant robot's head in effortlessly, teasing Sonic while showing that she clearly likes him, has more important business to attend to. She's the commander of the Resistance that ultimately made it possible for the world to bounce back from Eggman's control in Sonic Forces, showing her skill in combat and quick thinking as she helps the townsfolk with a wave of badniks approach. And by the end, she acknowledges she can't mold Sonic into something he isn't, while keeping her crushing tact. She's funny, adorable and kind, but also a competent person all around. It satisfies both ends. Amy gets to be a cute and lovable character with her little crush on Sonic, while not letting it be her whole world, showing off her skill and strength in the process. Alright, next. Oh, come on. No, we already... Oh my god. There we go. God damn. Metal Sonic. Introduced also in Sonic CD, is a physical manifestation of everything Sonic isn't and what Sonic hates. It's no mystery that the main message of the 4 classic Sonic titles revolve around environmentalism. Punishing Robotnik for his repeated attempts at harming the environment, the bad future versions of every stage being mechanized version of the levels, every game going through the progression of the early stages being natural environments until we inch closer and closer to Robotnik where it's all technology and cold dead metal, and Metal Sonic is the perfect example. Mirroring Sonic's appearance, he puts a twist on the whole thing. Sonic's sharp yet curved spikes give way to something much less friendly. Sonic's cute cartoony nose and gloved hands are replaced with sharp spikes. Where Sonic's free will is a defining trait of his character, Metal Sonic follows orders, and where Sonic's attitude is reflected in his expression and body language, Metal Sonic's movements are calculated with a dead expression on his face at all times. He is Sonic's first and best rival in my eyes, but he wouldn't receive much characterization throughout the classic titles. He received loss after loss at the hands of Sonic and his friends, despite Metal and Robotnik's best efforts, appearing as the final boss of Knuckles Chaotix, and second to last character we fight in Sonic the Fighters, as well as appearing in spin-offs like Sonic R and Drift. It wasn't until Sonic Heroes that we would see the main crux of this character, an obsession with being the real Sonic. After betraying Dr. Eggman and stealing his identity as a disguise, he copies the biodata of Team Sonic, Dark, Rose, Chaotix for some reason, as well as Chocola and Froggy due to their connections with Chaos from Sonic Adventure, to assume a new form. Neo Metal Sonic, Metal Madness, then Metal Overlord. In these new forms finally being given a voice, he finally speaks on his desire to ultimately of being the real Sonic. Ultimately, he is defeated once again by the hands of Sonic. He asks himself why he wasn't able to do it, why he wasn't able to defeat Sonic despite his new power. Sonic responds like an absolute moron and leaves, though there is a surprising sense of melancholy. Omega and Shadow exchange glances as he's carried, giving Metal mercy in a surprising twist. And then Metal Sonic gets a lobotomy! Hooray! It is with a great hurt in my heart following this moment that Metal Sonic has only been shown glimpses of characterization, mostly in the IDW comics. And while they are very, very touching and reiterate on this ideal Metal Sonic has, it never seems to lead anywhere. He is constantly at Eggman's control so that he doesn't fall out of line. He is not given time to properly think. He is he is written to be stagnant, and I am sick and tired of it being real for a sec here. Seriously? The same comic collab where you give everyone awesome costume changes, including Shadow with a sick Batman costume, Metal Sonic is one shot by Batman's fucking bike? Here's how these two characters are so similar. They have a lot of ideas on how to move forward. In Sonic Frontiers, Amy speaks of spreading love throughout the world, something she's shown interest in before. She's always been incredibly kind and compassionate, both with her bond with E102 Gamma as well as Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2, but she's yet to have her own adventure, show what that looks like. Metal, for his own part, has multiple moments where he shows his actual desire, his own needs, and we're shown glimpses of an actual personality, but it never goes anywhere. It's like being at a barbecue and they just give you appetizers every 2 hours. At some point, you're going to want the whole meal. They both need their own story to be defined, which is why it's so difficult to pick between these two to receive the year of treatment. On Amy's side, her writing is seen as somewhat inconsistent or lacking energy. On Metal's side, it's worse somehow. The last time he was playable outside of spin-offs and the card games was in Sonic 4 in 2012. They both deserve attention, I can't deny, and giving just one the spotlight just doesn't sit right with me personally as a huge fan of both of these characters. So what do I propose? A game with Amy as the protagonist and Metal as the main antagonist. I'd like this game to have a style similar to the advanced games. In an altercation against Metal Sonic, Sonic would be defeated by Metal's might. Utterly ecstatic by this win, Eggman would trust Metal to keep Sonic trapped, while Eggman takes this opportunity to cause chaos, keeping Knuckles, Tails, and whoever else would help busy. While Metal Sonic flew Sonic over to Eggman's base to trap him, Amy would manage to spot them from afar while she was on a walk. Quickly making up her mind, she decided to rescue him, kicking you into the first level of the game. As you play the game, you'll have the opportunity to get the Chaos Emeralds, though you're only able to get 3 of them, with Amy holding a 4th one in the cutscene before the game starts, oddly enough. In this stream game, there would be a few cutscenes between levels where Sonic is actually imprisoned and not whatever forces try to pull off, with lingering glares and quips from Sonic, much reminiscent of how he spoke to Metal in the Metal Virus saga. But without Eggman to retort for him, Metal Sonic is able to actually take it all in. The last level would take place in Eggman's lair, with a final boss fight against Metal Sonic. As the fight went on, Metal Sonic would show consistent usage of the emeralds, shown to be using them to power himself, revealing to be in the possession of the 3 emeralds out of the 7. With an escalation and the 7 emeralds together, Metal would assume his super form, while Amy would finally be able to harness his power. Yes, I'm giving Amy an actual super form. There is literally no reason why she shouldn't have one. Fight me! Of course, with Amy assuming this form for the first time, and Metal Sonic being shown to use Chaos Energy before, he'd easily tip the scales in his favor. Just then, as hope seems lost, Sonic would burst into his super form, breaking free from his cell in a strange and lightning speed, being able to transform momentarily because of the amount of chaos energy generated by 2 superpowered beings fighting. The deal would stomp Metal, though as Sonic sped away to help his friends, Amy would share a moment with Metal, something that would, hopefully, if the writers don't lobotomize him again, slowly bloom some change into the machine. Of course, I'd love for Metal to be playable as well, so that he'd have a campaign similar to Amy's, sort of like a prologue where Metal Sonic collects the emeralds that would be later used, ending in a boss fight with Sonic that Metal wins by powering himself with an emerald, just so that the power scalers don't get mad. I know that this is more or less just a self-indulgent dream scenario where my 2 favorite characters can share a spotlight, rather than the format of one character specifically, but I can't really help myself. These 2 characters share a lot of history, and they can benefit a lot from sharing a story. It wouldn't be the first time Amy showed humanity to a machine that was supposed to be cold-hearted, and it wouldn't be the first time it would be Metal. And on the flip side, it plainly makes sense for Metal to be affected by Amy Rose of all people, the hedgehog that knows firsthand how cruel Metal was made to be, Amy being willing to give a second chance without hesitating. In a way, they complete each other. Amy can prove that she can spread her love to whoever it is, machine or not, by proving that Metal Sonic can be his own person, while Metal Sonic develops beyond his obsession of being the real Sonic, of being his own person. I would personally really recommend the comic Born to Fail by Fern for literally anyone that is a fan of Metal Sonic beyond the hype moments and aura. What I'm getting at is that I really like these characters, and I wish people wouldn't fight so much over them. As much as I joke about Shadow's Ear and how much attention he got, this really opens the door for characters to be able to receive the attention they deserve. Beyond the concepts I've spoken of in this video, for Amy and Metal, Blaze has a whole dimension we haven't seen properly. Tails has yet to go solo. Silver is... holy shit, Silver, I'm so sorry, man. Point is, I'm sure that whoever Sega chooses to have their year, it'll be something who's had it coming for a long... Oh, come the fuck on. Who is doing this shit, man? Who asked for...